Tell us about what you know about Shan Chao. Who is he? What did he tell you?
The Chinese scientist named Chao Shan was staff of Wuhan Institution of Virology, and I knew him for a while. He contacted me in 2020, specifically March, about something of the virus pandemic going on that time.
So why did he contact you, and what did he tell you?
Well, he told me that people around him was dying. He felt very guilty about all the things, according to him. And I even joking about that. I said, "You're not a doctor. What is that to do with you?" He said he was the one who did some critical test to the virus strain back in 2019, specifically in February.
What kind of test and what kind of virus?
According to him, there were four strains of coronavirus given to him by his superior in Nanjing City.
In Nanjing
City.
In Nanjing City.
Mm-hmm.
Was he working there in 2019? Or was he still working in Wuhan Institute of Virology?
He had a period working in Texas, but I don't know by that time where he's working. Mm-hmm. He worked in Wuhan Institute of Virology and Texas, but I don't know where he's working exactly at that time.
So when he studied those virus, okay. So continue to tell us what he's told you.
He tested on those four strains to test the affinity of those strains, how well they could infect it, how easy they could infect other species, including human. The animals he used, mentioned by him, he used transgenic mice with human asymptotic receptor, bats, not bats, the ferrets, and monkeys.
So he tested those virus on these animals to see what?
To see the transmissibility of the virus.
And did he actually try to infect human being after he infected those animals?
Not from him, but he mentioned something. One of his research team, several, not one, he said several of his research team gone missing during the World Military Games in September and October.
Went missing? What do you mean by went missing?
They were moving out to participate something, but he's not authorized to know all the things. He does not know, so according to him, they're missing for a while.
Mm-hmm. So what exactly do they do? I heard last time you told me that they were asked to participate in the inspection of the hotel, whatever condition of
yes.
the people who come from overseas to participate. Yeah, so tell us about that part.
Yes, some of the information he could have given me was one of the guy told him they were asked to go to several hotels where the athletes overseas coming in will reside in to do some health inspections, which is very strange. That you usually do the health inspection with physicians, not a virologist.
So for the nature of the virus, or the fourth strain of virus, could you tell us a little bit more what kind of viruses they were and what kind of disease they could cause?
According to him, all four strains has coronavirus.
Coronavirus.
Yes, and they all can cause minor symptoms. But I did not hear anything about the fatality or something.
So, do you have any idea what kind of stage was his study? Was it close to, be able to infect human, or it's still a very early stage of experiments?
He used the word complete. He has for completed virus strains, which means, to my hypothesis, they are all capable of infecting humans. Chao Shan and his team were just expected to find out the one who's affinity to every single species.
So when you say completed, do you mean those viruses were all engineered?
Yes, they're artificial.
So do you have any idea who engineered those viruses?
No.
So you didn't know where he actually worked for, or where he worked at that time?
No, I have no idea.
Okay, so tell us a little bit more about what happened during the world military sports or whatever event in Wuhan. So apart from he felt it was strange that one of his or several of his team members were asked to participate in inspecting the health conditions of the hotels. What else do you know about that?
That's what he said, and he had a guess. He was guessing that they are actually trying to spread a virus to the athletes, so the athletes can bring those things back to their country.
Did he tell you he suspect that?
Yeah, he did tell me that, but I didn't believe it.
So could you describe us in detail exactly how he worded it, how he told you, what kind of language he used, the exact wording of him? Could you try to translate as accurate as you could?
Well, what he said is exactly what he said is I believe one of the guy was asked to inoculate people from other countries during the event so that they can be infected and carry the pathogen back to the country they came from with only minor symptoms, which is pretty common in late autumn.
That's the exact wording he used?
Yes.
So I don't quite understand. There's a word to carry what? That is a virus name?
Pathogen, yeah, you can say that's virus.
Okay, so he said one of his members is supposed to spread or put or inject or whatever method they use.
Probably to him doesn't mean exactly his team member. His team member probably participates some procedures to infect something or someone for that purpose, but that's just hypothesis. No one has any solid evidence on that.
But that's what he told you.
Yes.
What else? Because he wouldn't just tell you that one sentence. What are the related, or the whole context of the event, of the thing he told you?
He does not know a lot about the event. He just realized that some of his team members have gone missing during that time, and one of them happily told him about this. That's all he could say about this event.
Okay, so he told you this in March 2020, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was several months after the event. So during those several months, did he get any information regarding if his team member was involved in that event? Did he give any information about how, if they tried to do something, how successful that something was? Is there any, feedback or consequences or whatever result of what they tried to do?
No, he didn't mention anything about the consequence of the virus before that.
So, do you think when he told you he felt guilty about what he did, do you think that kind of what he did has also, or this event was also included in what he did, or only that the virus part, not this sports event part?
Well, according to him, because at that time he told me he was very emotional. I can only try to translate what he was saying. And he was saying he saw a lot of people die, and he feel really guilty because those strains coming from his hands. He didn't create them, but he helped the superior of him to perfection, to make the perfection, to make it more likely a good bioweapon. Bioweapon was his words.
So he specifically told you he was guilty for this, at that time we already know it was a coronavirus that is killing people in Wuhan as well. So he definitely was very sure that this has something to do with what he did back in 2019.
Because if I didn't remember that wrong, the sequence, the genomic sequence and polypeptide sequence of the virus is already out in early February.
Yes.
As a professional, he must have read the paper, so he must have recognized what that is.
So when you say he was very emotional, could you tell us a little bit more about his emotion and under what kind of circumstances, or why do you think he was emotional? And do you think you can trust his words when he was very emotional?
Well, not the words alone, but now I read a lot of different information from different aspects. I would say I trust him.
So do you think why he chose to tell you this? This is, can be evidence that could get him maybe a very, very serious consequences for himself and his family.
Yes, he actually told me that on April 2020. On that time, he told me he was on a plane from Wuhan to Xinjiang. What he said, we are using a very specific way to contact each other at that time. So I cannot tell you what that is, but we have to suggest each other using underline. And what he said exactly, I was sent to Xinjiang to do some health inspections for the people in the re-education camps, so that they could go home, don't have to crowd in the camps to make the disease spread more. That's what he said. And he mentioned, I probably went missing after this. And if I went missing, feel no hesitate to tell people when you feel it's right.
So that is why you are telling me this.
Yes, I lost contact with him since.
So what do you think has happened to him?
I don't know. Hopefully he's just silenced. Not a way of permanent silence, of course.
Okay, so tell us a little bit more about what he said, why he was sent to Xinjiang from Wuhan.
I read some news about the Xinjiang. I know there are education camps here, and I know people who was in jail, basically, of the camps, wanted to want to fight back to the tyranny of the Communist Party. And he was sent there, and he suggests he was there doing health inspection. And he's not a doctor, he's just a virologist. As a virologist in the education camp, and let them back, and let them go back home after the health inspection. And I would only guess the worst. He's probably going to infect them and then bring the virus back to their families.
So you think the CCP is doing this to the people in Xinjiang?
Yes.
And did you observe any, more infection after he went there?
Yes, exactly. During the pandemic, during the outbreak in Wuhan, it was end of January till the beginning of April. There are many places like Wuhan in other provinces across China get infected cases, different patients, and only 2 provinces have the least infection cases. Only like 1 or 2. The first one is in Tibet. The second one is in Xinjiang. They almost had no cases, and we all know that there's not very populated areas in Xinjiang and Tibet. That's probably why. And after he went there, during the summertime, it's become hot after May, right? So during the summertime, from May to June, there's suddenly an increasing amount of infected cases in Xinjiang, which I do not think is coincident.
So this is, I think, most astonishing thing I heard for a while. So tell us, what did you think or feel when he told you this?
He should not tell me anything that is. He should not tell me anything without any purpose. What he said, he was in Xinjiang. He was sending for health inspection in Xinjiang. He must have some underlines to want to hit me up with something. This is what I guess. So once I had that hypothesis in mind, I really feel disgusted. That's how I feel. Mm-hmm. And he told me to tell people about him, about the things. After we lost contact, it feels like his last words. Hope not.
So do you know how old is him?
He's 31.
31 or 2. Oh, that is quite young. So how long or when did he work in the Wuhan Institute of Virology?
He worked there after his master, probably 2010 or 11.
So how long did he work there?
Maybe 3 years or 4 years.
So did he do his post degree in there, or he worked there?
He worked there and with doing his degree.
Oh, so he worked and
also doing his degrees.
Okay, so do you know his area of study there?
I know he's working on some kind of virus, and I'm not a professional of.
So you don't know what kind of virus?
No.
So after he worked in there, where did he go, do you know?
Well, there is already some information of him digged up online. So, from that I could say he went to Texas after that.
Texas, to do research or to study?
I guess it's a postdoc research.
Postdoctoral research. And do you know when did he go back to China from Texas?
That part I do not know.
Okay. So, what do you think we should gather from the fact he told you?
Well, this is only a small jigsaw of the whole puzzle. So I would like people to gather informations around that institution and around some Chinese scientists who had collaborating researches in the United States to try to finish the whole picture, to see what they have done and what they will do with the knowledge and technology they have on the virus.
So from what you told us, I think it's quite astonishing. At least we learned that number one, the CCP was doing some virus engineering and purposely to try to infect people and to study which virus is best in terms of infection rate.
Not the infection rate in terms of best unrestricted bioweapon. That's what I want to say.
The best unrestricted bioweapon.
Yes.
So you said he used the word bioweapon?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
The virus itself is weaponized. That's the purpose of that strain.
Okay. Sorry, give me 1 moment. It seems my recording was stopped. I need to save this video and open another one. Okay, continue. So he used the word bioweapon when he told you that he was given 4 strains of coronavirus in
Yes.
March 2020.
No, it's yes. He told me in March 2020, and the strains he got is in February 2019.
So you said in May or June of 2019, he told you he already got a result of his tests.
Yes.
Okay, so what was the result he told you?
He found out a strain that is very capable for infecting many kind of hosts, which can mask up the intermediate hosts and origination of the virus.
So did he mention which kind of animals?
He did those on mice, on monkeys, and ferrets.
Okay, so that was number 1 thing I think is very shocking, and the number 2 is about the Wuhan military sports event in September. So if you say he told you that one of his team member, who is also a virologist, were sent to spread this virus to those people from other countries. Are you saying that?
Yes, that's my hypothesis.
So tell us again what exactly, in what kind of exact his words when he told you what he knew about his team members' involvement.
He's sure that his team member was taken before and during the event to the hotel and sometimes to the meeting site, just to do health inspections. That's what he was told. But health inspections, as I said, should not be done by a virologist. It's suspicious. So I would say they must have a reason behind that. And the only reason I can think of is this. And Shan Chao has probably the same hypothesis as me.
Yes, so what was the exactly words he used when he told you his hypothesis or his suspicion?
The virus is deliberately released. That's what he says.
Okay, so from what he told you, you believe the virus released in September 2019 was exactly the one they researched in February.
Yes, he confirmed that.
Okay.
As I said, the sequence and composition of the virus was already exposed during the early February in 2020, and he's a professional. He must have read papers, and he had tested so many things on that strains, so he knew what he's talking about.
Okay. So another, I think, very shocking thing you told us is he was sent in April 2020 to Xinjiang. Also do you think he was sent there to spread the virus or to do more tests on human beings?
I don't know. But I would guess though. I would guess either he's doing experiments on human, or he tried to infect them and let them go back to home. Because from what I know, in Xinjiang, the Uyghurs and the Chinese majority race, the Han, were living in segregation. They're not living together, different community, even in the same city. So there's a way to say it is more able for them to control which one they want to infect, if they're doing the latter.
Mm-hmm. So do you have any theory what he really did there, or what was the purpose? Do you have any guess?
My theory is most likely to go for the latter, which means they are trying to infect them and send them back to their community, try to infect them all. My hypothesis is they're probably trying to doing health checks on the name of their benefits and trying to collect some biology data from such group of people. That's what I'm thinking. Probably not meant to kill them or some way, because the fatality of this virus is not that high.
Okay, I think all the things you told us today are very, very shocking. You can say allegations. So tell us, this is so huge. Tell us, what are you thinking about all these things that Shan Chao told you?
Since he didn't contact me from last year, April, I think it's probably time for me to put this up to public, for people to know that the origin of the virus that shuts down the global economy is made from a specific government, and it is responsible for a specific group of people. I want people to realize it.
So if the US government or any government in the world want to go ahead with further investigation on the origin of this virus, what do you think they should do, and what direction or how they could connect information and confirm what you said?
I would say the first thing is to take a good look at the RNA sequence of the virus, and try to figure out there are some artificial prints of genetic engineering on that thing. That it was explained in Dr. Yan's reports. So they should focus on that first, and then try to dig up people who have a link with Wuhan Institution of Virology and the people around Shan Chao and other infamous people they already digged out. Just probably one jigsaw per time, and we're going to put the big picture together.
Okay, so you have no idea at all where did Shan Chao work when he did those experiments on the 4 viruses, right?
For that part was in Wuhan.
Was in Wuhan,
Yes.
But you don't know which.
I don't know if he's affiliated to that facility or not.
Okay,
but he was in Wuhan at that time, testing on the experimental strains.
Okay, so do you think there is a possibility he still worked for Wuhan Institution of Virology?
I would say yes, but I cannot confirm.
Okay, so he didn't tell you where he worked when he told you those?
No.
Okay, what else do you want to tell us?
I think this is probably the most I could give.
Okay. Anything?
Sure.
Okay. Okay. Do you want to talk about this? This book?
The book?
Yeah.
Okay, read a book. The book is from the Chinese military medical school. It is a virology textbook, stating that the virus strains that can infect many species is pretty convenient as a weapon, because it can bouncing, which means transmitting from human to wildlife, and wildlife in between, and to human again, to infect people repeatedly, which is what we could see now. The COVID-19, it can infect many intermediate hosts and then jump back to human. And after several generations, probably 1 or 2 years, you will not be able to tell which strain originally came from where, and help them to hide their guilt.
So, do you really believe that the COVID-19 pandemic could be a biological war, started by the Chinese Communist Party?
From the result I could see now, I prefer to call that biological terrorism, not war.
But it's definitely a man-made pandemic too.
Yeah, according to Chao Shan, it is artificial, engineered in lab, sent to him, doing transmissible experiments, and selected one of them for the release.
Do you think they purposely released in 2019 during the Wuhan sports event, but how it get infected in all the people in Wuhan, and China also suffered so much? What did they really achieve if this is a purpose, whatever terrorism or war you referred it to?
So let's think about terrorism. Terrorism is trying to kill or damage someone or some organization or some nation with a price. The price can be money, can be life, like suicide bombers, right? And those people who died in Wuhan, it's more likely to be considered as those who wear the suicide bomber vests. They were sacrificed for this so-called great purpose.
So what is the great purpose? What is the purpose of the CCP if they are doing this?
Most of the people in Western world haven't ever heard this, but their ultimate goal is actually rule the world with communism. But when they say communism, it wasn't actually communism. It is just like a kingdom and an empire that everyone works under dictator. That's all.
So they want to start this and then to rule the world with communism or with themselves.
Yes.
Okay, so what else do you want to tell us, or do you miss any important facts you need to add?
I guess that's all.
Okay, that's all. Okay, thank you.